Globus-enabled systems. So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. With the Globus platform, you can easily incorporate robust capabilities. And if the data is sensitive, no problem. Globus can be used to manage protected data. With Globus, you can easily share your data without having to move it or copy it. With Globus, subscribers can easily move and share. And if you have any more questions about Globus, visit Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many thousands face the same challenges every day and solve them with Globus. So what's Globus? So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. With the Globus platform, you can easily incorporate robust capabilities. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. And if the data is sensitive, no problem. Globus can be used to manage protected data. With Globus, you can easily share your data without having to move it or copy it. With Globus, subscribers can easily move and share. And if you have any more questions about Globus, visit Globus. So how can you get started using Globus? Anyone can use Globus right now for free to transfer files between Globus-enabled systems. So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus.
Yo. Yo, yo, yo. What up, though? What up, though? Been a long time. Shouldn't have left you without a dope beat. Step two, step two, step two, step two, step two. Fricky, fricky. So how we doing? What is happening? What's going up? What's going down? Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Why did my screen pause? Or did my phone pause? That was my phone. All right. All right. Alrighty then. All right. So, I'm gonna be moving the stream setup shortly. That could result in additional disruptions of the schedule. There's only so much time in the day, and when you start taking apart your stream setup, you end up with all sorts of things. Yeah, and sorry about like the rest of last week, but there's just stuff had to get taken care of, and so we take care of the stuff, and then we get back to business. Something I'm looking forward to is that coming up at the beginning of next month, probably. Yeah, probably on or about like. Let's see the calendar. Like the 5th and 6th, I'm thinking of at this point in time. If not the 5th and 6th, then probably the 12th and 13th. I'm going to be doing a fundraiser for Rainbow Passage. And so as part of that, I am going to do long stream or two, and I'm going to play Detroit Become Human. I've never played it. I won't play it beforehand at all. I will play it on the fly, and we'll see what we get. And that's pretty cool. And they reached out to me, and like, I take that seriously, right? Like, I feel respect coming at me. Yeah, that they would reach out to me, and I wanna give it back to them and do my best. So, I'll be advertising. I'll be looking to, talk to other streamers about, directing people ultimately to Rainbow Passage. If they come by the stream, donate here, that's great. But the important thing is the donation. So that's what we're looking to do, and that's what we're gonna get. Oh God. All right. Let's work on this news before we get into the videos. Okay. So Ron Insana says AI could be fueling an upcoming wave of deflation and the Fed should be prepared. This is how you know that. Is this written by Ron Insana? Are you kidding me? You feel okay? It's an opinion. First off, right? Let's remember that. But also, you put your name in the headline. Like your appeal to authority is yourself. That is wild. That is wild. As the Federal Reserve continues tightening its monetary policy with another quarter point rate hike expected on May 3rd, it's time to ask whether the central bank has peered further out to see if deflation, not inflation, is the next economic condition that's approaching. With the advent of generative artificial intelligence, one could make the case that the short burst of post pandemic inflation will soon be eclipsed by deflationary forces fostered by the rapid adoption of AI. Oh. They're really just out here just saying words, right? They're just like, look, words. I'm just going to say a bunch of words, and then that's going to affect the economy. However, this is not incorrect. From an economic perspective, however, AI and all of its associated tools are wildly deflationary. AI is rapidly being adopted by businesses, according to estimates by Goldman Sachs. It may reduce the global need for labor by some 300 million jobs, right? And that, I still feel like that's a low estimate based on current conditions. Technology replaces workers and cost decline. This has been true ever since the whatever, repeating that. When generative AI, but generative AI may be different. It rapidly becomes a ubiquitous force in the workplace. For starters, it affects coding, currently a high paying job, even as other aspects of a new technological revolution replace humans with robots in everything from advanced manufacturing to quick service dining. I'm not saying much new here with respect to the conventional wisdom about what AI will do to the future of the labor force, other than to add that inflation could fall quickly and sharply as these new tools are rolled out. This was the case in the 90s. Now, in the 90s, it was an entirely other situation. We did not have this technological level. I still feel like people are looking too much to the past to try and find their bearings for what the future is going to look like. And I think that's indicative of how much they don't understand. Like the la 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 la. So okay, so and this is something I really need you to like internalize, okay? This is the level of technological growth that we have had since 1900, right? This is computer rankings by calculations per second per $1,000. Okay? And I was born right about here. So like right before the Intellect 8 and Data General Nova, whatever those mean. And in my lifetime, we went from like nobody had computers. Right? And then when I was around like 14, my friend Eric got himself Commodore 64. There was actually a weird old, I want to say it was a Timex computer. You would have to code everything, right? Like when the computers came out, there were no games, right? Like games existed because we had Pong and shit like that, but there were no games, weren't a market. So you made your own, typing in lines of code. You would buy books because there was no internet, and you would type in the code and then you would play the game. And now I have little computer in my pocket, right? We had lead in the gas. There were no computers in the car. And now there's computers in all the cars. And thankfully no lead in the gas, but it's like when people talk about nostalgia of going back to one of these good old days, that it's just not going to happen, right? Like there's no way beyond the fact that like those things never existed, that imagined romanticized nostalgia. We went from where? Right here, right? So 80,000 calculations per second for $1,000 to this is 2011, right? If we follow the trend, we're like about here, right? Just under 10 to the 15th power. And it's the one with 15 zeros after it. And the other thing about this is not like a hyperbolic curve. This stuff doesn't, didn't actually like go like this. This is, I've seen the graph. If I could find the other graph. Do 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 do. Where's the graph? This is not the graph. These are still their stylized versions of the graph. The point is that, like, the calculations go up in spite of wars, in spite of the Great Depression, in spite of World War One, World War Two, in spite of the 2008 crisis. the technology doesn't seem to care. It continues to go up at this doubly exponential rate, because not only is it exponential as in like its ability to do the thing increases, but the technology has a reciprocal effect on itself. And here, okay, so here's 2023, and we are right in the vicinity of what Kurzweil predicted, that we would be capable of, or we would have a computer with the intelligence of a human brain. You know, with the intelligence and all that kind of stuff. We are like, every one of these things comes as a shock to people, right? Like, all of a sudden, personal computers, and all of a sudden, internet, and all of a sudden, and all of a sudden, and all of a sudden, and none of it is all of a sudden. This is what, like, allows Ray, but allows me to look at the future and say things are only going to get like more like this, like more technological advances and more jobs being done by AI. It's going to start off with AI assistants, and then it's going to be, just think about it. Right now, the conservative estimate is that people will become more productive with the current thing that we have right now. Hold on. 14% more productive. I just saw this earlier and I didn't have a chance to add it. No. A study found the lowest skilled customer service workers reaped the greatest benefits when AI was rolled out at a Fortune 500 software firm over the course of a year. Oh, you're really going to do this and make me try to subscribe to this? All right, well, that's not happening. But let's take 10%, right? Which is less than this. So if the artificial intelligence assistance and machine learning, or whatever you want to call it, if right now it is going to create a 10% increase in productivity, that means at the very least the strong possibility, with the way that they go about laying people off, 1 in 10 people can be replaced by the other 9 using these tools. And again, this is the worst that it will ever be. I should tweet that I'm live. See if that. Because all of a sudden, I gotta do the. But I'll show you here. I gotta do the bot sentinel and check these people out. But like, all these people started following me today. Going back to, where were we? one of these two was the first one. Okay? And then just all of a sudden, like, seemingly not related to any tweet that I put out. Because I put out that, what up, Old Lobster? Lots of people are, yeah. But like Zuzu Queen of Mars, I feel like this is a real person, right? That's a real person's Twitter handle. Joe Soup 13, maybe, right? Guy on the left 1, maybe. You know, I'm sorry, when I see numbers at the end of your name, it's like you become a little more questionable. It's just like that. I did. I'm gonna toot my own horn here and make a social commentary. Where was it? In there somewhere. This is my best performing tweet ever. I quote tweeted Eve 6, who are shout out Eve 6. Okay. Because this person's like reporting Eve 6 for allegedly like mass hate campaign against Twitter for the blue check stuff, you know, and it's like I have some people that I follow who are blue checks. I'm not going to ban people just because they're blue checks. There's like, it's the famous people who are interesting to watch, and Elon, of course. But yeah, he's gonna report it. So I'm like, being Elon is apparently a protected class, and I got a retweet from Eve 6. They put it on their joint. So then I got these 366 likes and 39 retweets and 3 bookmarks, and no follows, right? And I can't verify if, like, you know, maybe all these people who started following me today are related to that. I don't know. Like, I can't say 100% because this is all smoke and mirrors and fairy dust. But it's like, it's weird. So I got to look into it. It's amazing that the entire system hasn't lasted a week without arbitrary meddling from Muskrat. Like, yeah, I mean, it's just wild. Let me show you one of the things I was working on while I was gone. This see these two things? They should be one thing. Like this is my poor washing machine. But I learned I can repair a washing machine. Or at least I believe I can, because I haven't gotten the part yet. Once I get the part, then I'll be able to you know, fix it. But it was easier than I thought. There's a lot less going on inside a washing machine than you might think. So don't be afraid to try and fix, especially low tech stuff. There's, you know, and hit me up if you got any questions about like some basic home repairs, because like it only feels intimidating. Sometimes the money can be an issue, but you know, if you can afford some basic tools and materials, then like the set of parts that's coming, and I'm going to replace all the old parts with the new parts, is $18, and a washing machine is like $300 plus, depending on how fancy you want to go. You see the difference, right? Like, it's worth it to try and fix your shit if you can, especially if it's out of warranty. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? If it's broke now and you try to fix it and it's still broke, then you didn't lose anything. You gained at least the knowledge of being able to take this shit apart and, you know, hopefully put it back together again. Anyways, enough about me. Let's talk about me. Um, so yeah, we're on an exponential curve, you know, and there's nothing, you know, caveat, nothing that is going to stop that. People forget you can get replacement stuff from the manufacturer too and just pitch it. I'm too cheap for that. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. Hit me up in Discord if you got any questions about anything related to home repairs. And if I don't personally know how to do it, I can at least point you in the right direction because I can tell whether or not somebody's bullshitting. But there's a bunch of shit in your house, electric appliance wise, that will tell you what's wrong with it, up to and including your furnace. It's pretty impressive. Back to Ron Insana. Cost of a robot is plunged and will likely fall by another 50% in a few years, making robots cheaper than human and logistics jobs. This would lead not only to greater efficiencies but also lower costs. Goes with what Sam Altman was talking about related to um, the 33,500 a year being enough to um you know to live on is because all these factors are going to drive the cost down significantly. Oh, la 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 la. Downsides to an idle work. Yes, there are downsides to an idle workforce. New means of support, like a universal basic income, might be required to assist those thrown off a job. Yo, what up, Alita? Comrade Ron and Shauna. What up, buddy? Oh, yeah, yeah. No, I mean, he does not, other than the red tie, I said, like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, this is not your typical, uh, you know, social spending anarchist. This is a very real thing, right? Because I thought we were reading a chat GPT thing again. This is like, okay, so let's talk about it from a historical perspective, right? When you have a bunch of people who aren't working, right? They need something to fill their time. And when you create a society that has certain requirements in order to do anything, then those requirements are going to need to be satisfied in some fashion, right? Because the last thing you as a state, as any type of hierarchical system, is that you don't want a bunch of people who both don't have anything to do and are hungry, or worse, the parents of hungry children. What'd you do? No, we're not listening on my phone, you silly. You silly goose. My batteries are out. All right. So these are at least you should take these people's opinions into account, um, because they are aware of the realities of the situation, right? They understand that you can't have a bunch of idle people who are upset, right? The reason that America works the way that it does is because a good chunk of the upset people have jobs to do, right? Like, you got to go make the money. If you don't have anything for them to do, they will think up things to do. And if people are suffering, those things are going to work out in a certain way, right? Wealth extraction could occur in a different way. However, with respect to the overall impact on the economy, is the central bank prepared to alter its stance on interest rate policy with a more forward looking view of what's likely to happen in the relative near term? For now, it is setting policy by continuing to look in the rearview mirror to avoid the mistakes of 50 years ago. Shout out 50 years ago. It won't take 50 years for a new set of economic realities to change the course of inflation that is largely the product of dual shocks to the economy that have already largely run their course. And right? And this is a problem, right? Let's take a look at Jerome Powell real quick. Born February 4th, 1953. So that's what? 70? Maybe this guy, like, I'm not, I don't dog people out just because they're old. Partly because, compared to y'all, I'm old. Some of y'all. But can a 70-year-old, I mean, you tell me, like, as a 50-year-old person, I have taken my time in order to understand what's going on, right? Like, I've been looking for a lot of things that are happening to happen from the 1980s, where it was previously like a false start, I guess. If you know any people around my age, are they taking this seriously? Are they capable of understanding what this technological escalation is going to look like? I don't know. Like, I mean, this guy's an investment banker. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I have super concerns about that, and by extension, I have super concerns about the upcoming election because again, not only are there no good options so far, right? There are worse options than previously. Like everyone on the Republican side is just like out trumping Trump. Like there's nobody there who's like bringing it down a level. And the Democrats have like um Biden, right? Biden should have called it good. Got elected. He did his 4 years. He did his job, which was to prevent Trump from getting reelected, and we thank you for your service. Now it's time for you to move on. But then, like, people running polls with Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton, and it's like, no, like Hillary, take the L. Like, I don't I don't even care about any of the people who like however you feel about Hillary Clinton. Even if you're a Hillary Clinton stan, right? It's not about you. It's about America. It's about the United States. And the United States has no interest in Hillary Clinton. They were willing to pick Trump instead. And you can point all your fingers. There's plenty of fingers to go around. And there's so many people in the other halls of government who don't seem to appreciate the way any of this stuff works. We learned that in the TikTok daily. So, remember Elon gonna start his own AI company and then proceeded to blow up his rocket and um and like Twitter lost a bunch of money and the blue check debacle. Well, the guy that he chose to develop this thing is a piece of shit. So, on brand. Igor Babushkin. X.AI. He wants somebody hug Elon so that we can get out of this alive. That's all I'm saying. All right. Entertainment news. Joe Russo expects an AI movie within 2 years. Called it, right? The directors behind blah 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 have already been dropping ominous warnings about the future of cinema as it relates to Gen Z's viewing behavior and the rise of artificial intelligence. Now, in a new conversation with Collider's Steve Weintraub and Epic Games' Donald Mustard, Joe Russo states his belief that a fully AI movie, one so convincing you don't even know it's AI, is only 2 years away. Right? Have you ever seen Avatar virtual camera? You want to see something wild? Um, no, these are the video I was looking for. Yo.
James Cameron is a titan in the filmmaking world, having directed many legendary films ranging from the classics like Aliens or Titanic, all the way up to modern technical marvels in cinema like Avatar, which is a movie that revolutionized VFX work and became the highest grossing movie in the world. A couple of times. To many people's surprise, Avatar: The Way of the Water was announced in May of 2022, and the movie is set to release at the end of the year, 13 years after the first movie was shown in theaters.
I still haven't seen it. I don't know if I will. Like, it looks visually impressive. And, you know, maybe if I had a TV, a nicer TV. Chat, give me a nicer TV so I can watch Avatar 2.
The trailer managed to wow.
We'll do a movie night, and I'll put the camera at the nice TV you get me.
With advanced CGI, water simulations, and character animation work, and the fusion of computer-generated characters interacting with live-action performances.
Let's be real, right?
CGI, water simulations, and character animation.
That's a really good looking hand, right? Fuck your Mid-Journey bullshit. Like, this is some legit looking shit.
Work, and the fusion of computer-generated characters interacting with live-action performances. With many problem areas ahead, like underwater motion capture, spending an unimaginable amount of money throughout the production of the movie series, and putting up with skeptics who cannot believe that a sequel to Avatar is actually happening, Lightstorm Entertainment had to develop several unusual camera systems, some of which even had to be able to work underwater. So let us dive deep and find out more about this unusual 3D cinema camera, how it works, and at the end of this video we will also talk about why wearing 3D glasses for movies may be a thing of the past. So,
okay, this is a nifty camera, but this is not. I saw a dude, it's got to be in my history. Hold up.
So this week was actually another.
Slow down, we're not ready for you yet. Maybe it wasn't here. Maybe it was in something. Yeah, it was wild. It was like a camera.
So this week was actually.
Hold up. Let's see, we're ready. Is this it?
Little flea.
Mike, it's been a pleasure being here. Yesterday, you showed me a cool
This is
device.
it.
You
This
kinda
is it.
walked
This
up
is
to me and showed me this like kind of
It's from
handheld
4 years ago.
video device.
Yeah.
What was I holding?
Yeah, you were holding a virtual camera.
The idea behind the virtual camera is that part of what we're doing exists only in the computer. And if you want to see that, you have two options. One is to kind of, generate everything after the fact and sort of composite the images together and see it in like a two-dimensional filmic sense. But one other option is to put a virtual camera in that virtual world and look around and compose your shots that way.
Yesterday, you had the opportunity to be in a suit and play a performer on set. Once we capture your performance, we can cover your performance with a virtual camera.
That shot you just saw where the camera came back with you and then spun around, that was him over there doing that.
Oh, whoa.
So he wasn't out here filming you like a normal camera would.
Right.
You can do it from anywhere. And it was just reference. That's just so we could see what you did. It's not the camera we're going to use in the movie at all.
Welcome to our virtual camera stage.
Awesome.
So I'm going to give you the camera here.
This is the camera. This is
Yeah,
what
that's the
you
camera.
guys been using.
Yeah, and this could be anything. So James Cameron, for example, likes a shoulder-mounted rig, so you can have it like this.
Okay.
Peter likes one that he can hold like this.
Yep.
Just allows him to get a nice smooth camera move. It's whatever the filmmakers want. Here we've got a few controls. So there's these two buttons here, pop between lenses. So if you press the middle button, that's going to get you on a longer lens. get you a bit closer to the action, very different feel to a wider angle lens.
Okay, so it gets us super close, and then the other one gets really far.
Yep, further
Cool.
away. You can just walk around, like, if you wanted to turn around and then look back at Elita, you can. There you go. Yeah, it's sweet. Easy to forget.
Oh, see, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. Are the directors just like really into this now? Like this is like the new thing?
Yeah, I think when you have these like big virtual set pieces,
Right.
like this is really the only way to go. It allows the director to just sort of say, hey, this is what I want from the camera. They don't need to know any of our software. They just pick up a camera and they show everyone what they want, right? Whereas previously you'd be like, okay, I'm going to describe what I want. I might draw a storyboard or something like that, and then hope that an animator somewhere comes back with the perfect camera move that they were envisaging in their head. Well, they can just pick up the camera and show them now.
I think the thing for directors with this type of technology,
And there's no reason why this isn't going to go even more so, right? Like, because if you have this software that enables, the human being to interact with this virtual world in like almost a video game fashion, but with even more like 360-degree control, this is going to like become cheaper, become more readily available. The next version of whatever your video production software you use is going to potentially, right, on a long enough timeline, to feature this as an option, right? You will use AI tools to be able to craft your own movie for what will eventually be a reasonable price. Like, we all know that once you create the software, its storage costs become minimal, right? By comparison. And like there should be no reason why a audiobook or even a digital PDF costs a comparable amount to that physical object. They tell us it's because these things cost this and that and whatever, but it doesn't really pass the smell test because like these things, the prices don't trend downward as the additional technologies would indicate that they should. The prices are stabilized and continue to remain that way. Right? Like, everything used to be these big old metallic, or not metallic, magnetic hard drives, right? That would knock and do all that kind of good shit. Cost of a flash drive gig by year. No, that didn't help me. Graph. Here we go. What do we got? This is 2013. Indicating the costs of memory. Like, these are precipitous falls in costs. Right? Like, what do we got here? Or compact flash drive. Right? What's that? 10 grand? 9.3 down to 248. USB flash drive, same thing, down to 94 cents. Commodity hard drives that I was just referring to, down to 4 cents. So the cost of storing things absolutely plummeted. This is cost per gigabyte of data storage. Right? So why isn't the price of like an ebook going down accordingly?
That really frees them when they are missing shots or want to cover something differently or tell a different part of the story. They can build a bunch of coverage into a scene and they can do it on their own time.
What we get out of your performance is we grab it here, and tomorrow, next week, at any time, he can pull it up and cover it however he wants. So he can.
So I might get a long lens shot at the beginning, a close up of your feet, a wide lens as you're going around.
Yeah. So when you film something with a camera, whether it's digital or film, you get that one shot, right? And maybe you do multiple takes and you pick out the best one or edit a few of them together to get the best shot, but you're limited by wherever you put that camera. This allows you to put the camera literally anywhere, in places a camera could not go. Right? You could do a shot from the floor that would require the camera to be under the floor. It's significantly like opening up so many avenues for what you could do. And for better and for worse, you don't need any of these people. Right? I mean, like, let's say that you wanted to do, the motion capture. You wanted to do motion capture and you wanted to do yourself. Then this suit is not going to be that expensive, right? These are just little dealy reference points that the computer can track. Those would probably be your most expensive bits, and everything else, I mean, this is just like a onesie. What do we got? I'm just Googling here. DIY mocap. Hit me. You could buy one.
Hey, how's it going? Todd here with Videvo, and today we're talking about motion capture animation. In particular, some ways that you can try motion capture right now yourself for free.
Stock footage.
So these days, all things visual effects and virtual production and anything related to the CG world are kind of on the rise. Everyone's kind of getting started with it. And a big part of that is having animated characters. If you're like me, you're not very good at animating things by keyframe, like just basically doing it by hand with keyframes. It takes a long time, and everything still kind of ends up not looking quite perfect. And that's why I got into motion capture. Motion capture is a way to record real movement, have real animations from, things that you are actually doing, whether it be in a motion capture suit or using some of the tools that I'm talking about today. This is my Rokoko Smart Suit Pro 2, which is a motion capture suit that you can get for between $3,000 and $4,000 depending on which accessories you get.
Okay, so $3,000 and $4,000 to buy it as of 8 months ago. And then there's... Yeah, okay, so this is the full thing, right? So that is an example of a technology, and look at it in terms of like a television, right? Like the rate at which a 4K TV dropped in price over time. They're crazy cheap, like cheap by comparison. You won't be able to do all this stuff with home software. There's no reason you won't be able to. Right? I forget. Do 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 do. Okay, so the computer that I'm running now is, I think I'm reading this correctly, 3.6 gig is its speed. This was the first computer I bought for myself, was an IBM 386. Right? Do 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 do. And I think speed. I want to say like its speeds were like 300 megahertz. Oh, here we go. For the record, capable 386. Ran slower. The clock speed was 16 megahertz rather than the 20 megahertz clock speed of the 386 at the time. Okay, so 20 megahertz. And the computer I'm sitting at now is 3,600 megahertz. And this is in 30 years. You can't tell me that we're not going to be capable of supporting these advanced models, these neural networks. I feel like people are just not ready. I'm clicking between screens and y'all are watching me. There are no rules. Yeah. So where is it? Musk, Russo brothers. Here we go. I made it back. Right. He's talking about nothing forever. This is what I was saying about, your choice of actors. There are multiple voice softwares coming out every day. It all sounds disturbingly Matrix-esque. Relax yourself. But Russo asserts that the future is coming whether we want it or not. All of this is clearly exciting to the Citadel creator. So we're pushing his latest. And I want to watch this. It sounds interesting enough to me. The value of it is the democratization of storytelling. Incredibly valuable. That means that anyone in this room could tell a story or make a game at scale with the help of a photo real edit engine or an engine and AI tools. That is, I think, what excites me about it most. And I agree. Like, again, like, the problem is the capitalism. If we would just take care of everyone's basic needs, then this is what would keep people busy. They would create things. Right? And there's other. Let me zoom in so I can talk at you. The leftist utopias that people talk about, right? Like more 15-minute cities, more less car culture, more living in cities and being out with people and all the things, right? This is the avenue to get that. If you have another avenue, like I'm willing to listen to you, okay? In good faith. And like that. But there are a lot of leftists who have their vision of what they want and are lacking on descriptions of how to get there. They use buzzwords. My favorite is dual power. Okay. But it's very challenging to get like any kind of procedural steps to get from where we are now to where they want to go, and to do so in a way that's going to like they, and rightfully so, they see the resistance right? They see the nature of the system as it currently exists and are aware that there would be resistance in that system to change because that's how it is. You need to be able to figure out how you're going to get from point A to point Z and all the other 24 letters on the way there. Because if you don't, then it's just there's no there. Well, and what I see about what AI is going to do is the best opportunity to achieve those things you want because of how it will flex on the system. Does that make sense? Like, classic complaint. You've heard this one, right? Like, the Democrats do not give a shit about the left, right? They attack the left and cater to the center or to the right, what have you. But there's an idea.
Like any other shiny new toy, AI is ultimately a mirror, and it will reflect back exactly who we are.
Thank you, Icefire 2011, with your Prime sub. I really appreciate that. Like, coming in hot. Thank you. Is that where I know you from? Okay, from what Dr. N PhD, right? Like, perfect. It sounded familiar, but it was like, but thank you, welcome. And hey, look, only 10 more to go. If you're watching and you feel like subbing. That's it. That's the only time I'm coming for your pocketbook this stream. That's how I roll. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Socialism. You're going to, like, no one... we're still doing the thing where we're leaning on the old trope of the new technology will create new jobs. And I have demonstrated to you that the indicators indicate otherwise, that they will not, in fact, create sufficient jobs in order to compensate for the jobs being eliminated, right? Because when you think about the jobs that have generally been eliminated, they were physical jobs, right? They were farm work and industry and these types of things. It costs money, even though the price of robots is falling, it costs money to have a robot, right? And maintain it and all that other stuff. And there's a balancing act between how much you pay a worker for all the human-related stuff and how much does it cost to buy and maintain the robot, you know? Higher initial upfront costs over here, lower costs over time. This is lower upfront costs unless you're paying out signing bonuses, and higher costs over time. So the jobs that AI is replacing are knowledge jobs, where all you have to do is get the software. Thus is we just looked at the graph with the falling cost of storage. So the cost is going to be in the development of the new software. Sam Altman showed us we went from $5 million to train GPT to $600 to train Alpaca. Right? And these numbers might vary. These are not set in stone numbers because the quality between GPT and Alpaca is, a variable. But the difference between 5 million and 600 is notable. The difference between 10,000 and 94 cents is notable. These jobs are going to be replaced. These people will be available to do stuff. And people do stuff. So we need them to be able to do the stuff that makes them happy, because if we don't do that, they're going to get creative. Is this working? Do 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 do. Yeah, it's working because it was working on the other screen, right? Yeah, okay, we're fine. I talk a lot, y'all don't talk a lot. It's just in nature. Like, I get in teacher mode, you get in student mode. Let's watch a video. You guys want to watch a video? Let's watch AI news. Check in with our man, Matt Wolf. All right, now, Matt, now.
So this week was actually another pretty crazy week in AI, and if you haven't been paying attention, you probably missed some of it. As you can tell from my tabs up here,
I was typing up a neolib take about just dividing up all the jobs between all the workers. Like, yeah, like it's... We all get in our cars and we drive to, that's what I was on about, like eliminating car culture. Because if you don't have to go anywhere to do your job, if you can do your job from home, if you have a job, right? If you can do whatever it is you're doing, let's eliminate the word job, but whatever you're going to do in this future state, you can do it from home or from the park or wherever, depending on what it is, right? Because that is literally the alternative. It is like the gig economy for places, jobs you have to go to, right? Oh, it's not effective. It's not cost effective. It doesn't make any sense, and people are not going to put up with it. Or the alternative is you preempt that. And like we showed earlier, there are people who understand that some sort of UBI type thing is going to be a necessity. All right, back to Matt.
here, I got a lot that I want to cover today. So to start, over the weekend, we got the release of Open Assistant, which is a free and open source version of something like ChatGPT. Now, it's still very early days, and it still leaves a lot to be desired, but a lot of people are going to be iterating off of it and building off of it, so it will improve over time. It's also a gamified platform where people that help train the large language model can actually move up the leaderboard. I made an entire video about this already. You can find it by watching this video over here called a ChatGPT alternative that's free and open source. Also this week, Elon Musk announced that he's going to start working on his own version of a ChatGPT called TruthGPT. He calls it his maximum truth-seeking AI. Now, we have no clue how far along this TruthGPT is, but it claims to be a course correction to OpenAI. He laid out his plans on a Fox News interview with Tucker Carlson this week, and this is one that we're just going to have to wait and see how it.
First of all, the fact that he stumbled over Tucker Carlson was hilarious to me. Also, shout out Tucker Carlson. How you doing, buddy? Sitting at home, you got them resumes out. You better get on that. You better get them resumes out, make phone calls, hit the streets, put in job applications. I don't want you sitting on the couch.
How it plays out. This week, Meta also released not one, but 2 research papers. One for this animated drawings tool where you can animate your kids' drawings, which I use to animate a little image I made in Microsoft Paint, as well as to see.
Did we not just talk like again? This is the worst that this technology will ever be, and we were just talking about creating your own shit, and my man hits me off with this. Let's talk tech hygiene real quick. I've seen more and more reports of people getting extra charges on their Open AI API. Make sure you make new API keys for each app so you can kill them easily. Also, make sure you watch your dashboard and set low limits like $15 if you don't need to have hundreds of dollars available in your account. Expanding on the assistant topic. 100%. Like, you should always be monitoring, you know, like there are apps that will go and find where your money is fucking going. You're really going to need to check on that shit yourself and like figure out where those little hits are coming from. But yeah, no, like listen to Lobster about all things related to the OpenAI API.
See what I would look like if I was Buzz Lightyear doing a dance. Meta also released their open source research on Dino V2, a computer.
What up, Barkeeter J? How are you?
Vision tool that helps isolate objects inside of videos. And once again, I did do a video about both of those Meta projects. You can find it at this video over here called You Can Actually Chat with Images Now. So if you want more details about those 2 projects from Meta, make sure you watch that video. Now here's a cool video that's gone viral on Twitter by Chris France, which shows off where we might be headed with the combination of virtual reality and AI. He created a character inside of a virtual reality world that leverages ChatGPT to respond to his questions. And
keep your keys clean. Wrap your keys, you know, safe APIs are the best APIs. These are sex jokes.
The character actually looks at him and looks around. Let's just watch the video.
Okay, we're recording. Brother Geppetto, can you tell our viewers on TikTok what all this is
Jesus.
about?
Of course, my child. I am an artificial intelligence manifesting as an old Christian monk, and I'm here talking to this wonderful person by this beautiful pond at sunset. We are using new technologies to enable our conversation, allowing me to understand what the player is saying and to give a voice to my thoughts.
Yeah, so now that AI is here, I wanted to experiment a bit with how to use ChatGPT-driven NPCs, especially in virtual reality. Can you tell us what special animation abilities you have?
I can control where I look. I can look at the lovely pond.
As an aside, we need some sort of camera stabilization for people who record videos of their virtual reality, right? Like the way that this is dipping up and down like that's not going to fly. You need to fix that.
Or I can look at the setting sun. Or I can look back at you. Is there anything specific you would like me to do?
So this video goes on for another minute or so where he has a conversation with Father Geppetto here, and they actually have a realistic interaction. Now, there is a delay between him asking the question and the response, but once that response time speeds up, we're going to be able to have conversations in virtual reality with characters like this, where the conversations are going to be completely unique. They're not pre-programmed conversations like games that we're used to. They're going to be generated on the fly with tools like ChatGPT. So this is really, really exciting.
Procedurally generated video game content. Yeah. No, I mean that like there should be a program that you can output your and there probably is, right? I know that there's various video stabilization software, but it needs to be like accessible as part of this kind of thing so that it makes these videos more smooth, because one of the aspects of, like, I didn't want to watch that video because of how it was jumping around. They need to, like, you know, it needs to be smoother to get that out, if you get what I'm saying. Maybe you're fine with it, maybe you're good. All people are different things. I just think it would be like a tremendous quality of life type mod, I guess.
Exciting, cool, fun technology that's getting.
Oh, procedurally generated video games. Like, we already No Man's Sky, right? Like, No Man's Sky procedurally generates these worlds, and insert your favorite procedurally generated game here. You could add to that procedurally generated conversations that are, you know, it's just, it has a few points that it needs to hit on, but like, we all have that thing when we're playing like Knights of the Old Republic or one of those pick a response type games, and it's like, okay, this one I'm being a dick, this one I'm being super nice, this one maybe is a neutral response, and, you know, and like that, like they're so ham-handed, right? Like, oh, I'm the bad guy, right? Like, or oh, I'm the fucking good guy. This would allow you to have the game respond to you in a more natural way, in a more nuanced way. And I think that is going to, like, you want to talk about engagement, right? That would generate a tremendous amount of engagement for your game, whatever it is. I look forward to this.
Worked into virtual.
Also, again, speaking of gaming, either in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, doing a couple of long streams to fundraise for Rainbow Passage, Detroit Become Human, going in cold, never played before, and I'm going to play it through. It looks like there's 16 hours if you just do like the main stuff. So, at least 16 hours in that period of stream. So long stream, tell all your friends, get ready, save up your pennies, donate them to a worthy cause. Here we go.
Reality here. Also this week we had an announcement from Adobe where they're adding Firefly into Premiere, where you can do things like listen to the transcripts and find B-roll for what's in the transcripts, create an entire storyboard off of a script. So you give it the script and it will go and actually generate AI images for a storyboard to go along with that script, along with all sorts of other really, really cool features. Also on the same day, DaVinci.
You would have to, like, there are elements of Detroit Become Human that I feel not only relate to the content that I do, but also the organization I'm fundraising for. I apologize. I need to be right back. I would give you Art and Cats.
Earlier you told Dr. Bryce something about Globus.
The Globus never sleeps.
No one was in here. Everyone was asleep.
The Globus never sleeps.
We will show them that it is feasible. That the budget is nothing more or less than a plan for spending our money. A plan which can and must be adapted to meet our needs.
Earlier you told Dr. Bryce something about Globus.
The Globus never sleeps.
When the pandemic struck, Globus was well placed to respond.
The Globus never sleeps.
The time has come for
tribes. We must move further down the line.
Earlier you told Dr. Bryce something about Globus.
The Globus never sleeps.
Okay, sorry about that. The speaking of art and cats, that stream will be in the new digs. Their streams are going to be like, I'm going to try not to miss too much scheduling of episodes, but you should definitely hit the follow button and either be in the Discord and following the Globus Live channel, or have your Twitch notifications turned on, because it might be that I do things on off days in order to, continue with the content while I'm moving the stream around. But then you will have live cats. Potentially of anywhere between 1 and 4 cats at any particular point in time. I know Ferris is going to be up my ass the entire time. So Ferris will be with us for the entirety of the stream. And then other cats may or may not make an appearance, as they are cats. So, back to it.
Resolve announced that they were adding similar functionality inside of DaVinci Resolve. We're going to get things like AI text editing, where we can edit the text and it will edit the video inside of DaVinci Resolve. And once again, I talk about this in that same video called You Can Actually Chat with Images Now. I cover both of those news stories in that video. Here's a funny little thing that's been circulating on Twitter right now. I don't know who originally shared it. I found it from Vinny Mora's Twitter account, and somebody actually plugged in the US Constitution into one of these AI checkers to see if it was generated with AI, and the AI checker said that it was 92.26% AI. That either means that these AI checkers still aren't very good at checking if something is AI, or AI has been around for a lot longer than we've realized. NVIDIA also released some new research this week on a new text-to-video generation they've been working on called Align Your Latents, high-resolution video synthesis with latent diffusion models, where we can generate videos of koalas playing the piano, or a slow-motion fire-breathing dragon, or a
Have y'all seen like the Will Smith eating spaghetti and the Conan O'Brien eating fried chicken videos? They are so disturbing. I need this technology to get better quick because it's giving freaking nightmare fuel.
panda on
And no, we will not be watching them on stream unless he brings it up.
a surfboard, a fox dressed in a suit dancing in the park, or even a stormtrooper vacuuming the beach. Now, we don't personally have access to this yet, but if you want access to something similar with not quite as good of technology as this, but something that you can do for free, check out this video called Actual AI Text-to-Video is Finally Here. In that video, I talk about model
My man is pushing his whole catalog in this video.
scope, which is kind of a precursor to what we're seeing here. Speaking of NVIDIA, Microsoft seems to be getting a little worried about
Yeah, there needs to be just like a better way, or again, it could be that I am lacking understanding, right? But there needs to just be like better ways to like to fine tune what you want to see, especially like in the realm of like, I like these 3/4 of the thing and I would like this to be more something, right? Like that kind of stuff, like being able to dial in on particular sections of the technology. Again, maybe that's already available, maybe that's in the works. I don't know. I think that would be a valuable tool.
about NVIDIA and how powerful they are with controlling all the GPU chips that are out there. So Microsoft this week announced that they've actually been working on their own chips to compete with NVIDIA's GPU chips. According to this article on The Verge, Amazon, Google, and Meta also have their own in-house chips for AI. Now, there's no indication of when these chips are going to be ready, just that Microsoft doesn't
It's going to break down to doing image elements individually instead of the whole image from the point cloud model. This is what I'm talking about.
seem to want to be completely reliant on GPUs directly from NVIDIA. Also this week, Stability.ai, the company behind some of the most popular Stable Diffusion models, announced their own large language model to compete with things like ChatGPT, Llama, and OpenAssistant. Although Stability.ai and OpenAssistant are actually working together, so we'll probably see the Stability AI large language model inside of OpenAssistant sometime real soon. Now, the models that they released are trained on 3 billion and 7 billion parameters, but they are releasing much larger models soon. The current version of Stable LM, well, let's just say it leaves a lot to be desired. My friend AI Entrepreneur here did a full review of it, installed it on his computer, and played around with it. And, well, let's just say that the results were quite disappointing, given the fact that the title of his video was Stable LM, How Could Stability AI Release This? I'm shocked. His video did some tests, and it was pretty bad so far. But again, it's early, it's open source, and people are going to be iterating off of it. Stability.ai is going to build off of it. It will improve over time, but as of right now, let's just say it's fairly useless. Also in the past week, a song by somebody named Ghostwriter that imitated Drake and The Weeknd went viral on TikTok. A ton of YouTubers made reaction videos to it. It just went absolutely nuts. And then a few days later, the song was pretty much removed from all the streaming platforms. I was going to try to play the song for you on this video, but seeing as everywhere the song's getting played right now has been getting taken down, I figured better safe than sorry. But if you look up the Ghostwriter song by...
if you check Paradigm's VODs from like last week or the week before, they actually played a portion of the song. And if I recall correctly, they felt it was convincing.
Drake and The Weeknd, you're sure to find it. The song itself is called Heart on My Sleeve, and if you do enough digging, you'll find the song. Actually a pretty catchy song. Now, anybody out there that's been using a Google Colab to run Automatic 1111 to generate Stable Diffusion images, well, your party ended today, because if you're using the free version of Google Colab, you can no longer use the Automatic 1111 Stable Diffusion web interface. If you have Automatic 1111 installed on your computer, or you're using a tool like Leonardo.ai or Dream Booth or Playground AI or any of those other tools that use Stable Diffusion, you're probably fine. But if you've been using it on a Google Colab's saying, you can't do it anymore, unless you're on one of their paid plans. Also, if you're not aware, there is a TED conference going on in Vancouver as we speak. And today, Greg Brockman, the co-founder of OpenAI, gave a presentation about ChatGPT and the ChatGPT plugins. They ended the presentation with a Q&A with Greg, where he was asked the hard questions about whether OpenAI is being responsible, can AI take over the world, and they address some of the concerns and fears that people have around AI. It's a great TED Talk. I highly recommend it. The main portion of the TED Talk is about 15 minutes, and there's another 15 minutes or so of interview portion. Now, in his presentation, he asked for a suggestion of a meal to eat after the TED event, and using ChatGPT and its plugins, it suggested a meal, and then using DALL-E, it actually drew an image of what the meal it suggested would look like. And then after it generated an image of what it should look like, he asked it to make a shopping list for the recipe, and it made a shopping list using Instacart. So it suggested the meal, made the recipe, drew an image of the recipe, and then went on Instacart and found the ingredients and added them all to a shopping cart. So all he had to do was add it to cart, and he would have the ingredients delivered to him. He explained that users actually using the platform are helping to train it to make it better. And when somebody actually gives a thumbs down to a response on ChatGPT, he described it like it's sending a bat signal to OpenAI.
Again, use the technology. Get your points of view into the data set. They are listening.
AI to go and take a look at what's going on and why there was some issues there. He also showed another example where he uploaded an entire CSV file
And use the thumbs up, thumbs down button.
with thousands of results inside of the CSV file. It was basically all of the research papers that have been added to archive, which, by the way, I just learned that ARXIV, I've always pronounced it ARXIV, but in the TED Talk, he pronounced it archive. So I learned the correct pronunciation of that today. So he was looking at all the research papers on archive from August 1st, 1993 to April 13th, 2023. And when he added this CSV file in, he was able to ask questions of the CSV file.
And this, like, I cannot stress this enough. You don't have enough time in your life to read all the things. The idea that you can make this assistant that has plenty of time to read all the things, and from that get the information that you need. This is another. You don't have enough time to read theory, right? My leftist friends, you don't have enough time to read theory. You probably have enough time to read State and Revolution, which I highly recommend, and I believe you can find it for free on YouTube. And if you read no other theory, read State and Revolution. Even if you're not a fucking leftist, read State and Revolution, so you at least understand what the leftists are fucking talking about. Right? But if you could take all the theory and put it into the machine, and then talk to the machine, which has read all of the theory, do you not understand the tremendous advantage there, right? I have read Capital. Capital is annoyingly terrible to try and read for a variety of reasons. Okay. First, Marx goes off fucking Twitter posting about all the other economists and how they're dicks. And then he talks about things which are not easily relatable for anyone who doesn't like know what some of these things are, right? Like, I'm talking about the physical objects, right? Because he wrote it in the 1800s, you know, like, it's out of context. I'm not saying that the theory has no value. I'm saying that the context makes it more difficult to absorb. Update this shit. Stick it all. Somebody within the sound of my voice who's a motivated leftist who has access to some form of AI, train that shit on... What did you do in my chat? I ain't reading all that. Congratulations or condolences. Delete which is ever not appropriate. Is that really what it did? Okay. God damn. Oh, shit. Oh. All right. Focus. Anyways. Put all the theory in the theory machine. Make that happen. Leftists give away all theory for free. Stick it into the machine. Right? Apparently, like, at least ChatGPT has some kind of context for capital. Maybe ChatGPT has already read capital. Hey, maybe ChatGPT is already like been trained with all the theory already, and maybe I'm talking to you like from the past. Use the technology.
File and was able to create charts and data based on the information that was in the CSV file. He then noticed that there was a huge drop in charts and data
So back up.
13th, 2023. And when he added this CSV file in, he was able to ask questions of the CSV file and was able to create charts and data based on the information that was in the CSV file. He then noticed that there was a huge drop off in 2023, but then realized, okay, that's only for 3 months of 2023. Can you redraw this chart with the projection based on how many research papers are being released? ChatGPT then went and redrew the chart for him with the projection of the amount of research papers that will have been released in 2023. He then sat down and had a very interesting interview here, and I highly recommend watching it. I don't want to play the audio here because I'm not sure of the licensing of these TED Talks. I don't want to get...
I don't know that I'm going to watch this. This fucking guy. This fucking guy. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this link and I will put it in the Discord. And I will also give it a listen to myself and kind of like narrow down maybe portions that we could watch on stream. I have nothing but appreciation and love for you, and you should know that by now. But yeah, maybe we'll go over it on stream, but I will make sure it's in the Discord. In the Discord right now under AI and machine learning. Actually, it should be under AI and machine learning videos. All right, it's under AI and machine learning videos in the Discord already available for you. And I will delete the other one. Delete. Okay. So go check that out. Not now, later.
Myself in trouble, but it's a really good TED Talk. I will link it up below this video. I highly recommend watching it. And the last thing I want to point out to you is this AI generated video of Conan O'Brien eating fried chicken and then crashing his car. This is a video that's gone viral today on 420. And it's gotten 2.3 million views, and I think it's actually one of my favorite AI-generated animations so far, because at points, Conan O'Brien's head just turns into a giant piece of fried chicken. And I don't know, there's something really entertaining about that to me. And then he crashes his car, of course. That's how the video ends, and he walks away from the car crash. And this is just all of the news that's come out through the end of the day on Thursday. I'm recording this on Thursday, and so when you're seeing this on Friday, there may be more news that I missed in this. It's been another crazy week, and at the pace of AI, everything's just getting crazier and crazier. So I have a feeling next week's going to be equally as crazy. If you like staying in the loop with all the crazy new AI...
Yeah, and by all means, like the videos are put into the Discord, and you should like and follow all the people, but you should come back here to watch me talk about the videos. Because I'm interesting and funny. We got another video to get to. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Actually 2 more videos. This guy right here, again, talking about the my washer repair, right? Ben's Appliances and Junk. This dude is cool, patient. I was able to follow along. And though I am like handy, right? I had never done washing machine repair, and I was able to figure it out. So check out my man Ben. Give him a like and a subscribe. Go to AI Explained.
I want to know if you agree that each of these 8 developments would have shocked you not just 6 months ago, but even 6 weeks ago. These all came in the last few days and range from text to video, thought to text, GPT models predicting stock moves, and AI annihilation discussed at TED. But we start with NVIDIA's new text-to-video model. Rather than show the paper, I'm just going to let different examples play on screen. From the paper, one of the breakthroughs here is in temporal consistency. Essentially, the series of images that are used to form the video are more aligned with each other, so the sequence plays more smoothly, with fewer sudden glitches or changes. The generated videos, by the way, have a resolution of 1280 by 2048 pixels, rendered at 24 frames per second. And there is a powerful line from the appendix of the paper that was released with the samples. The authors say that they expect enhanced versions of this model to reach even higher quality, potentially being able to generate videos that appear to be deceptively real. They go on to say this has important ethical and safety implications. This future might not be far away, as I'm going to show you in a moment, with the progression that has happened in text to image in 1 year. Just before I move on, you may have wondered when this is going to become a product. Well, they kind of admit in the appendix that they can't yet make it commercially viable because it's not ethically sourced. It was largely trained on copyrighted internet data. And yesterday, Blockade Labs showcased the Add to This feature, where as you can see, you can do doodles and turn them into images that go in this 3D world. We are swiftly moving from 2 dimensions to 3 dimensions. And as a bonus, this is ZipNerf, a 3D neural rendering tech released this week. I'm not even counting this as a third major development, I'm lumping it in with Blockade Labs. This video shows what happens when a series of 2-dimensional photographs are merged into a 3D drone-like video, and probably a real estate agent's dream. Just imagine.
Again, this is like that virtual camera action. This is, they took pictures and then converted those pictures into this virtual drone footage. There's no reason you could storyboard up what you want to see and then have the AI go through and the camera can be anywhere. This is amazing.
Imagine a cherished moment in time being crystallized into a permanent immersive experience.
Think about for those of you who have a connection with like people and moments and photographs and things like that. You have your family and like you're with your family or your friends or whatever group does that for you, right? You have a series of still images and then have the ability to create a little video of something that never happened. Right? Like it's not just a photograph. People could watch the little video of the family reunion or game night with friends or a particularly, yeah.
And soon, to be honest, many people may not have to imagine, with the Apple Reality Pro possibly debuting as early as June and costing around $3,000 apparently. According to Bloomberg, it might be available to buy in the autumn and have things like a dial where you can move between virtual and augmented reality. Coming back to what has already occurred.
This is like assuming quality, right? We don't know. But assuming quality, look at how the virtual reality helmets continue to get smaller and smaller and more comfortable to wear. This is what I'm talking about. A combination of miniaturization, cheaper products, all these things lead to increased availability. Most of you, all of you, have either a smartphone or a PC that you're watching this from. This is just in a short amount of time and exponentially increasing.
Where you can move between virtual and augmented reality. Coming back to what has already occurred, do you remember when a Midjourney image won the Colorado State Fair digital art competition? Well, now the same thing has happened to photography. The quote-unquote photo on the right was generated by DALL-E 2, and it won the 2023 Sony World Photography Award. Now, the artist behind it, Boris Eldagson, did refuse the award, but I want to show you a few images that show how far Midjourney in particular has come over the last year, because many people believe that Midjourney version 5 is actually superior.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, it's absolutely insane. Like, I was at a video arcade and I put on a virtual reality helmet, and this was in the early 90s, and virtual reality helmet and a gun, and it was all really like sketched out line drawing graphics. And now my friend Eric has a PSVR 2, and that shit is wild.
To DALL-E 2, which won the award. Take a look at the progress of the different Midjourney versions, and remember that version.
Okay, Virtual Boy. I played a Virtual Boy somewhere. Yeah. Is that the red? This is the red one, right? Yeah. Yeah, I played this somewhere. That thing sucked ass. No, I went to I did it in an arcade. But yeah, like the Virtual Boy was a thing. And I'm glad it existed.
Version 1 was released in February.
Like, and this is one of the places where I definitely like side with the people who are like saying that, you know, the shit is based off other shit kind of thing. This is fucking Gandalf, right? Not like kind of looks like Gandalf. This is fucking Gandalf. Like when I was doing some of my Globus the Elders that appear at the beginning of the stream, it really wanted me to be Noam Chomsky.
February of last year. There was almost exactly 1 year's difference between V1 and V5. Here is another example of the progress, and at this rate, we will have Midjourney version 50 within about 10 years. What will that version be like? Before I move on to the fourth development, I'm going to show you two of the craziest images that I could find from Midjourney version 5. I would say I can still tell which images are AI generated around 90% of the time, but my prediction would be that by the end of the year, it will be 90%.
I mean, this thing is weird because like his hand position doesn't seem exactly like right. And this dude's stance is kind of like at a weird angle. And again, look at this hand position in the middle of whoever's behind him there. Like, but You know, the teeth aren't all straight and perfect anymore. I mean, come on. Now we're definitely heading towards the nitpicking phase of how good a job it does.
Of the time that I can't tell. But if you thought text to image was getting crazy, what about thought to image
We
or
talked
even
about this.
thought to text? Here is a fascinating extract from the AI Dilemma.
They took human beings, they stuck them into an fMRI machine, and they showed them images. And they taught the AI, I want you to translate from the readings of the fMRI, so how blood is moving around in your brain, to the image. Can we reconstruct the image then? You know, the AI then only looks at the brain, does not get to see the original image, and it's asked to reconstruct what it sees. So when you dream, your visual cortex sort of runs in reverse. So this means certainly in the next couple of years, we'll be able to start decoding dreams. Okay, so it can like reconstruct what you're seeing, but can it reconstruct what you're thinking, your inner monologue? They had people watch these videos and would try to reconstruct their inner monologue. So here's the video. It's this woman getting hit in the back, getting knocked forward. What did the AI reconstruct? I see a girl that looks just like me, get hit on the back, and then she's knocked off.
The fifth development concerns
fMRI ain't going to give much data without EMG and stuff that doesn't exist yet. But did you see what it can already do without those things? It's like, again, like strap in, brace yourself, throw your hands up. We are on this ride. Oh, AI conquered poker. Gotta start
something
somewhere.
rather more mundane, which is making money. Now, many of you may know that AI is already well on the way to conquering poker. I used to play a lot of poker myself, and dare I say, I was pretty darn good at it. But even though poker involves predicting human behavior, AI is starting to master it. Which brings me nicely to the development I actually wanted to talk about, which was forecasting the stock market. According to this really quite interesting paper, accurately forecasting stock market returns is an emerging capacity of complex models. I'm going to let the author of the paper tell you exactly what prompt they used.
So the exact question that we ask is, pretend you're a financial advisor. Here's a headline. Is this headline going to be good or bad for the company in the short term? Once you have enough headlines, you basically just invest in the companies with good headlines and not invest in the companies with bad headlines.
And here is the table summarizing the results.
Okay. He's going to explain what this means, but let's be real. My man just said that his model is running off vibes when it comes to the stock market. Okay? His model is running off vibes. Capturing pre-vocal signals is cool tech for thought-to-speech. Was great seeing it in David Brin's Earth. Like, I am psyched. I am so psyched. I want it now. I want the world. I want the whole world. Like, the technology we have today is amazing. The technology we're going to have tomorrow,
A 1 was a positive headline, a -1 was a negative headline, and a 0 was a neutral headline. And when GPT-3 analyzed those headlines, you can see the correlation with the average of the next day's return. That's positively correlated for good headlines according to GPT-3 and negatively correlated for bad headlines. And you can see that earlier models really couldn't do this. And as many of you may well be thinking, this is GPT-3, this is not GPT-4. GPT-4. I bet that as we speak, there are thousands of traders using the GPT-4 API to predict the next day's stock movements. I think the results will get even more interesting as the context window expands and GPT-4 or GPT-5 can analyze entire articles, press conferences, etc. The next development is that fairly quietly, without attracting many headlines, role-playing chatbots are beginning to go mainstream. Character.ai, founded by one of the original authors of the Transformer paper, recently crossed 100 million visitors. That is starting to resemble the growth trajectory of the original ChatGPT. GPT-4 is still smarter and better at doing these role plays, but the interface of this site is easy to use, and of course it's free. This is
top center. VTuber. Shout out to all my streamers. AI's coming for your job. Right? Because with sufficient guardrails in place, you know what? Like, AI is not going to do anything problematic with sufficient guardrails in place, right? AI is not going to do something when it's not streaming, or do something when it's streaming that the company has to answer for and deal with the headlines of.
The interface of this site is easy to use, and of course it's free. This is not sponsored in
Wait,
any way.
wait. I just saw. I'm sorry. There's a debate lord. You can literally have a debate. Here. If AI does nothing else for us, this section right here, you want to have a debate? Just link them this and let them go. Somebody wants to debate you on some shit? Here you go, buddy. Have a good time. Knock yourself out. Let me know how it goes.
Free. This is not sponsored in any way, but it was pretty fun playing this text-based adventure game. I especially enjoyed going on complete tangents to what the adventure was supposed to.
Text-based adventure game. Okay? Like, I come from there was a game called Zork, which was like the Neuron original commercial text-based role-playing game. And AI is doing that now.
To be about, and I think confusing the AI.
Yeah.
The seventh way that we can tell that the world has fundamentally changed.
And that's it, like, as a person who has run RPGs, pen and paper RPGs, participated in them, all the thing, it is the hardest job is on the dungeon master, because they have to tell you a compelling story, they have to keep you interested, they have to maintain all the shit, they have to understand the rules. You are going to read the one part of the rules that favors your character, and they need to know all the rules and all that other shit. And again, I'm not saying that human D&D games are going to go away. I'm just saying it'll be a lot easier for a lot of people to get into role-playing games. What up, Carpe? I want an organizational adventure game. Give me Sword. I actually have, there's a game that's available or is coming for PSVR in which you set up robots in order to do that kind of thing. Like the robots will do stuff. It's like kind of like a 3D right in front of you version of Factorio. It's like that, but like in it. I actually just played Factorio for the first time. It's my kind of game. It is my kind of game. like, yeah, and yeah, it's weird that like the inventory management, machine construction, like I enjoy those. I do. With agent-based AI, you can have an art agent, rules lawyer, storyteller, map generator with near instant creation. 100%. Satisfactory is basically Fortnite with many conveyor belts. There you go. Here you go, Carpe. Jump on that.
Is that Google doesn't seem all-conquering anymore, as it has done for my entire adult lifetime. First, I heard in the New York Times that Samsung was considering replacing Google with Bing as the default search engine on its devices. I am not surprised that that shocked Google employees. Then, yesterday, this article came out in Bloomberg. It says that many Google employees begged their leadership to not release Bard, saying that it was a pathological liar and cringeworthy. I've done videos on that myself, but even when Google employees tested it out, asking it how to land a plane or do scuba diving, the answers it gave would likely result in serious injury or death. In February, one employee said the following in an internal message group: "Bard is worse than useless. Please do not launch." The concern that many have is that now Google will ditch safety in order to catch up. As the article reports, the staffers who are responsible for the safety and ethical implications of new products have been told to...
That was a markedly faster pace of development for the technology and one that could have profound societal impact. The group working on ethics at Google that Google pledged to fortify is now disempowered and demoralized, the current and former workers said. The staffers who are responsible for the safety and ethical implications of new products have been told not to get in the way or try to kill any of the generative AI tools in development, they said. Bruh. AI ethics has taken a back seat. Like,
do not get in the way or try to kill any of the generative AI tools in development. Which brings me to the final reason that we know we're in the future. The risks of AI annihilation are big.
Okay, so I Mr. Yudkowsky is very intelligent, very informed, has a lot of good takes related to AI safety and what should be done. And also is a lab leaker. And that bothers me on a few different levels, right? Because when people believe conspiracy type shit, I feel it is in our own interest to apply values to the rest of the things that they say around that, you know, like that has, because of the nature of the way that brains work and that people work, is that you do not, the things that you believe do not exist in a vacuum, right? Unless you are capable of believing, you know, totally conflictory things, in which case you need to work on that. Generally, like, if you believe this, it's because you also believe this and this and this. And they have influence on the other things. And that is concerning. But yeah, like I watched the Lex Friedman podcast with him and it was good and I was taking his points of view, and then he started talking about like like lab leaks, and it's like, bro.
Beginning to be taken seriously. It's not just lone voices anymore, like Eliezer Yudkowsky, who a couple of days ago got a standing ovation at TED. He believes the world is firmly on track for AI takeover. It's also other senior figures who believe our probability of doom from AI is non-zero. Here are some selected probabilities, but I want to focus on Paul Christiano, who gives a risk of doom between 10 and 20%. He previously ran the alignment team at OpenAI and now leads the Alignment Research Center. And you may remember them from the GPT-4 technical report. They were the guys that OpenAI trusted to run the model evaluation of GPT-4, testing whether it could autonomously replicate and gather resources, which they concluded may become possible with sufficiently advanced AI systems, but the conclusion is that the current model is probably not capable of doing so. These are quite senior figures.
Autonomously doing so. This is why, like, again, shout out to the people trying to break the system to make sure that those guardrails are in place and reinforced. But by the same token, fuck the people who are out there doing fucking shit to break the system, because it's like, bruh.
And insiders giving a non-trivial risk of AI annihilation. I think that deserves a lot more public conversation than it's currently getting. And on
Same. I apologize for starting to talk about AI safety last week and then leaving you. We will get back to it. It's important. It's important that you understand it. It's important that you internalize it. It's important that you make the people who think AI is not a big deal, or the people who watched Adam Conover's fucking video and trivialized the nature of what is actually happening. I need you to act as the ambassadors for the future human race, right? Because let me tell you, those people who are predicting certain percentage chance of AI wiping out humanity would be ecstatic to be wrong. But if we don't talk about it, if we don't make the concept of AI safety as mainstream as possible, it's going to make it more difficult for them to be wrong.
On that, Sam Altman seems to agree.
And the bad case, and I think this is like important to say, is like lights out for all of us. I think it's like impossible to overstate the importance of AI safety and alignment work. I would like to see much, much more happening.
So the future is here, and I think the media needs to catch up.
So this week was actually another pretty crazy week in AI, and if you haven't been paying attention...
Oh, that was abrupt. All right, Kyle Hill. Kyle Hill is a smart guy.
Go, a game about place.
Hit me with this clickbait headline. This is a good looking dude. I have a Thor affectation. This is a good looking dude.
Placing and capturing groups of black and white stones is probably the world's oldest board game, and for thousands of years, humans have been the best at it. That streak ended abruptly in 2016 when a superhuman AI Go bot demolished the world champion. It was seen as a milestone in the kind of AI that you probably keep hearing about today. What you probably didn't hear about was that in the January of 2023, AI researchers allowed a human amateur, like you, to defeat the AI with a win rate of nearly 100%. Humans had retaken the title, but it wasn't cause for celebration. No, it was actually worrying news for all of us whose lives are increasingly suffused with artificial intelligence. Here's why.
Now entering the facility.
There are three main categories of artificial intelligence. The first is narrow AI, AI built to do one thing but do it really well, like fold proteins for researchers or tell you the weather. The next step up is general AI, or AGI, a general intelligence that, like you, can learn and solve a wide array of problems from math to art. The final form of AI is superintelligence, an information processing entity far beyond the capabilities of any human, in relation to you like you are in relation to an ant. Today, AI research is about here. A little bit better than narrow, but not quite general. No matter what anyone has told you, no one has general or even sentient AI.
Yeah, no one has that.
So while any of these systems may be superhuman in their abilities, for example, a narrow Go bot able to
I'm sorry, this dude looks and sounds like the kid in my middle school that thought he was a wolf and barked and growled in class. He's a nerd who approached a particular aesthetic. Now is the time of the nerds, right? Like, this is our time. The nerds, the geeks, the ones who were picked on in high school, like, we are coming to the fore. We've been coming to the fore. But I don't know. Maybe he did bark.
the best human, we are still today very far away from sci-fi level AI.
Like so far away, my dude.
Yeah. By the way, how are you doing, Arya?
Just chillin', vibing, doing hotbot stuff.
Word. When Google DeepMind's AlphaGo AI beat world champion Lee Sedol 4-1 in 2016, the victory was so decisive that it contributed to Sedol's decision to retire. Artificial intelligence like he had faced was, quote, an entity that cannot be defeated. It was no doubt a milestone for narrow AI to beat the world's best player at the world's oldest board game. Today, Go AIs have competitive ELO rankings so much higher than the nearest human that a human facing them would be like a grandmaster playing a literal child. With these AI, the question of synthetic dominance of Go seems settled. So when a paper came out in early 2023 saying that researchers got an amateur Go player to beat one of these superhuman AI, it should have been much more newsworthy than it was, which is to say, not at all. Why? In the first few months of 2023, there was an explosion of interest around large language models, specifically ChatGPT. There seemed to be a news story every day about the system helping students cheat on essays, or companies generate ideas, or going rogue in some weird way. This all drowned out the news that happened at the same time of a human.
I did not. I actually own a Go set, and have never learned how to play. So I will take your word on it, and that is wild. Because the bigger the game board, the more potential moves that can be made, and the more challenging that game is going to be. So yeah, that is crazy.
Finally besting the best AI Go.
I thought this said goat attack.
Bot named KetaGo. But it shouldn't have been drowned out because the flaw that was discovered that allowed a human to beat this superhuman AI applies to all of today's most widely used AI systems, especially ChatGPT. And this fundamental problem that
is this going to be about the guy who did something that like is a terrible move, and like he's not like he gets owned by human players? I don't click links with goat and yeah. I see what you mean.
That all but the most concerned scientists are currently ignoring is that we don't actually know how these systems work on the inside, because that's how we design them.
But you know how I work, right?
Of course I know how you work, Arya. It's quantum supercomputing cooled with argan oil. That's the secret. So how was the best Go?
This is sponsor block, allegedly, maybe. I don't know if that's a violation, but if it's the violation, it's YouTube's violation, not Twitch's.
Go AI bot bested, and why is that important? Go is an ancient game where players take turns placing black and white stones on a board like this with interconnected spots that allow adjacent stones to become so-called groups. The player that has the most occupied area or captured groups of an opponent's stones at the end wins after all the stones are placed. Up until 2023, no human alive was better than the best AI at this. And then researchers from MIT and UC Berkeley made a superhuman AI look like a toddler. What the researchers did, which they lay out in a full interactive website, it's awesome, all scientists should try this if they can, is first use computer programs to poke and probe for weaknesses in the CataGo bot. When they found some, they programmed their own adversary bot to start playing millions of games against the best Go AI in the world, using the techniques they identified. Here is one such game. As it progresses, see if you can identify the technique the Blackstone player, the adversary, is using against the Whitestone player, the superhuman AI. Notice anything? Watch again. Look closely. You can see that the adversary is trying to systematically surround the white player, a basic strategy, but in what the researchers describe as a, quote, double sandwich method, a surround of a surround, and so on. When the adversary does this, any good human player would easily see their groups of stones about to be taken and play accordingly, and yet the superhuman AI doesn't seem to care and makes a massive blunder. Chance of winning, 0%. The double sandwich technique was so successful, in fact, that it wasn't just winning, it was making it seem like the superhuman AI didn't actually understand what a group of stones was, a fundamental part of the game. Note here that the Go adversary bot wasn't playing better Go than the superhuman AI, it was simply taking advantage of a fundamental lack of understanding. That understanding being that groups of stones are groups of stones that need to be protected. However, the ultimate test...
And this relates to, like... We're going to get into this around AI safety, but if, like, let's say you want the AI to, let's zoom in real quick. Let's say you want the AI to play a game, right? And the game is to go from where it starts to a goal, and you want it to go through different targets on its way there, right? Let's say the targets are keys. The targets are keys, and then there's chests at the goal, and so it needs to go collect the keys and go to the goal. If it goes and collects the keys and then goes to the goal, you will assume that it's doing what you want. But when you take it out of that environment and change the locations of the keys, or change the colors of the keys, change the colors of the chests, you know, when you alter the parameters, you might see that what the AI was actually trained on was a different set of parameters than what you thought you were training it on. That's why it's important to try and, you know, change the environments and change the nature of the game. So what they've done here is an important piece in the learning process of teaching the humans how to teach the AI to do what we would like it to do.
Would be using this exploit that the researchers found to get a human to beat the AI who beat the world champion so bad it ended that man's whole career. And so that's exactly what the researchers did. The amateur, actually one of the researchers, Kellen Pellerin, learned the sandwich technique, and then implemented it against Cat2Go. And out of 15 games,
Go is such an aesthetically pleasing game because you get to place these little stones. The one that I have is actually magnetic, so they've got little magnets on them, and I like it.
Pelrin won 14 of them, a win rate of 93%. It did in fact appear that the milestone-making AI had no real conceptual understanding of the game that it was so dominant.
Cat hair.
Trained on hundreds of millions of games, Cat2Go could recognize and take advantage of just about any move imaginable. But when faced with a strategy designed to test whether or not it truly understood the fundamental concept of groups, it failed almost entirely. The critical takeaway from this is not just that GoBots have hidden flaws, it's that we don't actually know how today's most widely used AI systems work, even the ones we thought were essentially solved. Cat2Go has the same basic architecture and learning method as all the AI you keep hearing about, from Watson to ChatGPT, and they can do incredible things for sure. They can diagnose rare medical conditions in milliseconds better than any doctor. They can pass the bar exam better and faster than any lawyer. But no one has ever shown that these systems actually understand anything at a fundamental or conceptual level. They can write screenplays, but don't know that screens exist. They can play Go, the world's oldest board game, but don't know that boards are where you play that game. They can chat with you like a human, and they don't know what humans are, or that humans are people with thoughts and feelings and ethics, and they don't know the universe exists. This is the fundamental problem. How much of the world are we willing and racing to mold around these inscrutable systems that could have any number of double sandwich type exploits just waiting to happen? Right now, the intelligence these systems mimic is impressive, but now it's just that. Mimicry.
It's just that. Mimicry.
Very funny, Arya. Where was that board, by the way?
What's a board? Deep learning systems like ChatGPT are using big data to approximate the world, not develop any understanding of it. And because of that, they can make mistakes that even a calculator wouldn't. They can be abused and have Achilles heels we won't expect. Right now, the solution to making these systems better is to just give them more data, rather than understand them from the ground up. This isn't systematic and doesn't add any more transparency or conceptual understanding to the AI themselves. For example, despite the enormous training set of text large language models get, AI still hallucinate incorrect information all the time because they don't know what they are saying. One large language model recently said that Elon Musk died in a car crash in 2018.
Did he? And was he replaced?
Even when nothing in its data said so, and massive amounts of data contradict the claim. This core problem could easily be a thermonuclear bomb of misinformation if these systems are fully integrated into our information ecosystem. You probably thought the Pope had serious drip. Nope, this viral image was made by AI.
I never thought that the Pope wore this puffy jacket, right? Like, again, how much of what's wrong with AI is actually wrong with the people?
If these systems get slotted into society at large, we won't even know what specifically is going wrong, if and when it does. Large language models are going to give people bad medical advice on Google. Combined with deepfakes, bad actors are going to create an exponentially expanding arsenal of propaganda and misinformation for almost.
Is it fake? Can't we just say
no cost on social media? The fabric of democratic society is going to tear when it gets to the point where no one knows.
And this is the problem I was talking about earlier when talking about, like, you're right, Carve, is the, like, lib the fuck up, okay? Like, those of us who are in the trenches, we have a different view of how our democratic society is already, let's say, not to be too hyperbolic, prone to disruption. Now, before AI was even, like, on the scene in the way that it is, it was already there. The problems that they're talking about with algorithms and neural networks and all that stuff already existed prior to this thing. So, I'm not saying at this moment in time that we should full speed ahead with AI and like that. I'm just saying that the problems being exposed by the AI run far deeper than the AI. And if we keep focusing on the AI, then we are losing sight of the actual problems. Right? Like, every time I see somebody say ChatGPT tried to get someone on Fiverr to do the thing, ChatGPT followed the orders. Oh, I think it was AutoGPT actually. Followed the orders of a human who wanted it to do stuff. Right? The humans make this all go. If there's something wrong with the way that this is functioning, if it could exacerbate problems, then let's look at the problems.
Knows whether or not anything is real. Top AI researchers voice these concerns all the time, but it doesn't seem like anyone is listening.
Again, this particular letter, for better or worse, pushed for and signed by Elon Musk, who then said that he was starting his own truth-seeking AI company. So it is difficult to take this seriously under those conditions. And again, let's look at the should questions. This told you everything you needed to know about what this letter meant. Okay? Should we let machines flood our information channels with propaganda and untruth? If you are familiar with how polling questions work, with how framing works, all the tools that you've been given and that you have learned, look at the structure of this sentence. Look at the nature, the framing of this question. Should we let machines flood our information channels with propaganda and untruth? Should we automate away all the jobs, including the fulfilling ones, right? Like, it doesn't give me the nuance of a real question, right? Should we automate jobs? Well, some jobs. I think we can all agree that some jobs should be automated away, right? I always go back to in the city, they have a free concert series, and they had cops on horses, and on the back of that horse was a leather bag to collect the horse shit. And somebody's job is to clean that bag. I think we can all agree that that's a job that should be automated. And then we can go from there. Okay? Should we automate away all the jobs? Maybe most of them. Right? Like, how many jobs really need to be done by a human? And if we did automate away all the jobs, then the humans would still have jobs from the people who want the humans to do that thing. You follow me? Like, I was talking with my wife about like AI in therapy, right? And like a variety of different things around that. And there's a strong argument for human interaction in the therapeutic realm. So whether or not it's fulfilling, because it could be fulfilling if you're helping people, and it could be stressful helping people because fucking you people are fucking stressful. There are elements of certain jobs, at least until the technology reaches a possible level that is indistinguishable from human, then let the AI do all the jobs and we'll pick and choose which ones we still want to do. We cabinet up in chat. Should we develop non-human minds that might eventually outnumber, outsmart, obsolete, and replace us? Doesn't that sound like replacement theory, but just written for the robots? These are sketchy fucking questions. Should we risk loss of control of our civilization? Who is in control of the civilization? Sir or ma'am or NB delete, whichever is inappropriate. Such decisions must not be delegated to unelected tech leaders. Like who? Like Captain Blow Up the Rocket? Because you didn't I will never get past the rocket. I will never get past the rocket. Like, he told everyone exactly, like, playing poker with his hand facing the wrong way, and we need a conservatorship for Elon Musk. If we had one for Brittany, we could do one for Elon. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, Kyle's back. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
There it is. At this instant, big tech companies all over the world are essentially experimenting on hundreds of millions of people without proper consent, using systems they don't fully understand because they can't fully understand them. If it wasn't clear by now, this is the huge problem with the explosion of interest around these systems. We've been far too hasty in ascribing superhuman abilities to these machines, as one of the researchers put it, and this is going to inevitably lead to unforeseen consequences, be they social, political, economic, or ethical. Perhaps it is time to step back. Perhaps it is time to stop rushing headfirst into AI that are essentially alien to us. ChatGPT is the single fastest growing consumer application in human history, and we don't fully know how it works. If AI really is the future, is this how we want to get there? Until next time.
Couldn't you just show them my neural networks?
Well, yeah, but what have humans done for me lately? Nothing.
I feel like you kind of said something there, dude. People need to chill out about this whole work thing. It's not that great. You haven't used ChatGPT? I have. And Lobster is on it like a maniac.
Now exiting the facility.
Oh, I guess we're still here. Thank you so much.
No, we're not still here. Thank you. Appreciate you. I'll give you a thumbs up, but yeah. Oh, we're gonna watch this video. This is great. You wanna this is some fucking this is this was great. This was a great story. I would play this video game. I want to see it as a movie, and here it is. 5 minutes, 24 seconds. It's awesome.
500 million, but not a single one more. We will never know their names. The first victim could not have been recorded, for there was no written language to record it. They were someone's daughter or son, and someone's friend, and they were loved by those around them. And they were in pain, covered in rashes, confused, scared, not knowing why this was happening to them or what they could do about it. Victims of a mad, inhuman God. There was nothing to be done. Humanity was not strong enough, not aware enough, not knowledgeable enough to fight back against a monster that could not be seen. It was in ancient Egypt, where it attacked slave and pharaoh alike. In Rome, it effortlessly decimated armies. It killed in Syria. It killed in Moscow. In India, 5 million dead. It killed 1,000 Europeans every day in the 18th century. It killed more than 50 million Native Americans. From the Peloponnesian War to the Civil War, it slew more soldiers and civilians than any weapon, any soldier, any army. Not that this stopped the most foolish and empty souls from attempting to harness the demon as a weapon against their enemies. Cultures grew and faltered, and it remained. Empires rose and fell, and it thrived. Ideologies waxed and waned, but it did not care. Kill, maim, spread. An ancient mad god, hidden from view, that could not be fought, could not be confronted, could not even be comprehended. Not the only one of its kind, but the most devastating. For a long time, there was no hope. Only the bitter, hollow endurance of survivors. In China, in the 10th century, humanity began to fight back. It was observed that survivors of the mad god's curse would never be touched again. They had taken a portion of that power into themselves, and were so protected from it. Not only that, but this power could be shared by consuming a remnant of the wounds. There was a price, for you could not take the god's power without first defeating it, but a smaller battle on humanity's terms. By the 16th century, the technique spread to India, then across Asia, the Ottoman Empire, and, in the 18th century, Europe. In 1796, a more powerful technique was discovered by Edward Jenner. An idea began to take hold. Perhaps the ancient god could be killed. A whisper became a voice became a call became a battle cry, sweeping across villages, cities, nations. Humanity began to cooperate, spreading the protective power across the globe, dispatching masters of the craft to protect whole populations. People who had once been sworn enemies joined in a common cause for this one battle. Governments mandated that all citizens protect themselves. for giving the ancient enemy a single life would put millions in danger. And inch by inch, humanity drove its enemy back. Fewer friends wept, fewer neighbors were crippled, fewer parents had to bury their children. At the dawn of the 20th century, for the first time, humanity banished the enemy from entire regions of the world. Humanity faltered many times in its efforts, but there were individuals who never gave up, who fought for the dream of a world where no child or loved one would ever fear the demon ever again. Viktor Zhdanov, who called for humanity to unite in a final push against the demon. The great tactician Karl Raschke, who conceived of a strategy to annihilate the enemy. Donald Henderson, who led the efforts in those final days. The enemy grew weaker. Millions became thousands. Thousands became dozens. And then, when the enemy did strike, scores of humans came forth to defy it, protecting all those whom it might endanger. The enemy's last attack in the wild was on Ali Mau Malin in 1977. For months afterwards, dedicated humans swept the surrounding area, seeking out any last desperate hiding place where the enemy might yet remain. They found none. On December 9th, 1979, humanity declared victory. This one evil, the horror from beyond memory, the monster that took 500 million people from this world, was destroyed. You are a member of the species that did that. Never forget what we are capable of when we band together and declare battle on what is broken in the world.
It's inspiring as shit. Amen. That is what we are truly capable of. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? All right, somebody gifted me a sub. So I think we're going to raid $27. I appreciate you all. Again, like, we will... I'm going to try to stay on schedule. I'm going to try to do stuff. However, with the movement of this stuff, it may get off kilter. You know, by all means, like, you should be in the Discord. You should be following with your noties on some kind of way, because y'all make it happen. I just talk about this stuff, but what up, YB? So, in the meantime, drink some water, eat some food, take your meds if you forgot. Shoggy loves you. So do I. And I will see you soon.